Took one look and now you stare at me the same.
Welcome to DotaPit season number 2 here on twitch.tv/DotaPit. I'm WhatASip. With me today is F4L for Alliance versus the Power Rangers. First series of the day, there are going to be 2 today. The second is Alliance versus Complexity. But starting it out, F4L, what's going on, buddy?
Not much. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. Oh, God. Somehow mute co-broadcasters is not off in my game. But that's all right. Let's pop over to the standings really quick and take a look. Alliance, they have not played that many games in this tournament. They are 2-2, and that, of course, gives them 2 points. Power Rangers not doing so hot, 1-9, and that's not great, obviously. So maybe we're gonna see them trying, maybe something else, something different, something a little bit more conventional, but we'll find out.
Power Rangers are eliminated, I think, at this point.
Yeah, it's. I think there would have to be some sort of not small miracle.
Yep.
Maybe all the other teams drop out, which lately, I mean, that could actually happen. It seems like, but Alliance, they have pulled out of a bunch of other tournaments, but they are back in DotaPit, and they've got this new lineup here,
reserve time,
which supposedly is not permanent, but Bulldog is taking a break, quote unquote. Nothing was said about Misery. Chessie is very injured still, so I don't know. But they've got Ace, MyNuts, and Hani, and MyNuts is actually the one that is going to be drafting, so that's interesting.
I have actually no idea what's going on with the Alliance because I haven't really asked around.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that Misery and Chessie were like only. I mean, I know that Misery especially was not like completely formally on the team. So it's, I don't know. It gets weird.
5 seconds remaining.
It gets weird, but we'll find out. Power Rangers, they've got the Tidehunter, Brewmaster, and Skywrath Mage banned out for them. Razor and Wisp banned out from Alliance, and they first picked the Slark. Slark seems pretty good now, especially that Doom is not nearly as good against him.
Yeah, Sarks is really good right now. I actually wouldn't be surprised if it starts getting picked more in the first round. It is. There are some things that are still good against it. Like, I think AoE disables especially are quite strong against Slark.
Yeah, well, Power Rangers has 2 of those already, but they are all right. Enigma Tidehunter, that's some team fight right there. I mean, it's long duration or long cooldowns, which Slark and Viper can both kind of take advantage of. If they use Ravage and don't get completely destroyed in a fight, if another fight happens immediately afterward, Power Rangers are most likely going to get stomped. At least thus far, that's sort of the weakness that I see here with this lineup. But
yeah, but sometimes you get in that situation where they use one ultimate and win a fight, and then they still have the other one for the next fight.
And then you're like, well, it's not awkward. But Enigmas, I don't know. I feel like Enigmas lately have not been as effective, at least in the games that I've casted. People are getting better at warding jungles up, disrupting it, making it so you don't get that really quick mechanism.
Yeah, at the same time, like the really good Enigma players, I think, are still having a lot of success. Like Puppy, Zai. It's also up to your team a lot of times to protect your jungle. I mean, sometimes we see Enigmas struggling because they don't counter ward correctly or stuff like that. So, and especially on Radiant, it's actually pretty safe to go for this Enigma because if you buy one set of sentries, you can deward both camps that you need on the left side.
Yeah, the two camps up under the hill, the ones closest to the mid lane.
Yeah,
pretty easy to keep those dewarded. So Enigma should have an okay time, barring anything crazy, I think, from Alliance. And second round of bans here, the Rubik as well as the Centaur banned out for the Power Rangers, and Death Prophet and Disruptor for Alliance. Disruptor banned out. They just want to make sure this team fight doesn't get out of control, I think. Disruptor, the AoE silence could be a huge issue for Slark. And Death Prophet, just a strong pushing hero to pair up with these big team fight heroes who win a fight easily with the big ultimates, then use the Death Prophet to push down the tower. That can be a problem. Ogre Magi is picked up here for Alliance, and Ogre has been insane lately in pro play. I mean, his good regen, he can sort of function as an off lane. As soon as he gets multicast, he can really like take a huge part in just killing enemy carries out of nowhere if you get a good multicast. And the ultimate, if you do get the Aghanims, is useful as well. And he's just, I mean, he has so many good stuns. Ignite is really good. Bloodlust is mediocre, but the other abilities he has are so good. I don't think it really matters.
And then, of course, in the late game with the Axe, I mean, he can just win that game.
Yeah, he can just win team fights single-handedly, just spamming. Like, the Fire Blast does not have a very long cooldown.
Yeah. And the BKB nerf helps him as well.
Jeez. Yeah, absolutely. Only having 5 seconds of BKB, and Ogre will lock you down for another 5 seconds, depending on the multicast he gets. So, I really like the Ogre. Pairing up with the Slark here, they've got really, really good single target. They can kill people extremely quickly. They have the Viper as well. I like Alliance's lineup so far. It just seems very solid. Power Rangers, on the other hand, I mean, their lineup is fairly easy to execute. When you have these big ultimates, it gives you a lot of space, a little bit more room for error when you have a thing like Ravage to use in a fight. So both teams just pretty normal lineups, I would say.
Yeah. Alliance definitely going to be better at fighting. If they actually go ahead and pick up another hero with a big ultimate in the Witch Doctor with the Death Ward. So these team fights could get pretty tricky for Alliance in the near future. But at the same time, I think they should do really well in this laning phase. It's actually possible that we see something like an aggressive tri-lane even maybe, and then soloing the Viper against the Tidehunter possibly, but we'll just have to see what they decide to do.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you have to be worried for Alliance to actually, you know, be able to take team fights. That's a real issue at this point. I mean, if they win the lanes handily, then I don't think it'll be too huge of a problem. The Witch Doctor will be underleveled. They won't have the Death Ward. They're still going to have to deal with the Ravage and Black Hole, but, I mean, they also have a lineup that's sort of built for occasionally just avoiding these team fights, getting pick-offs on crucial heroes, and then just pushing in with the help of the mechanism from the Viper. So I like Alliance's game plan. I think it makes sense even against this powerful lineup of Power Rangers. The one thing is that, I mean, Viper is not traditionally really too great of a BKB carrier. Slark is pretty normally, he picks one up, and that's going to be, I think, pretty important against the Ravage, just to make sure they don't get Ravage and Black Hold in the same fight. That could be, I mean, that's just, the fight's automatically over if that happens, basically.
Yeah. Although Slark really not wanting to necessarily buy a BKB
yeah, I mean,
early.
he would rather get, you know, like a just straight up
It's still
Scotty or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's still perfectly fine on him.
And Weaver here for Power Rangers, that's going to be one of their later game cores, and we'll see where they do decide to lane that. But it looks to be just an easy lane Weaver at this point, and he'll be farming. So interesting choice here for their easy lane carry. Does not contribute too much to these earlier team fights. Just Weaver doesn't have a ton of damage until later parts of the game, especially if you do go for a more defensive build with something like a Lincoln's, which he might have to. I mean, if not, Ogre is just going to probably own him. So.
Yep. And so Alliance have this Ogre Ancient Apparition, so they might look to maybe roam a little bit, use the Chilling Touch, the Ignite, and the Fire Blast, look to pick up some early kills. And I actually think we're just going to probably see a safe lane coming out from Alliance.
Just something,
and then,
just some, you don't think it's going to be like, just a safe lane and then aggro
no,
tri-lane?
I mean, yeah, I don't think they're going to aggro tri-lane. That's what I mean.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean,
because I think they're just going to roam the Ogre and Ancient Apparition.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. Ancient Apparition going to be looking to get level 6 sooner rather than later. And that will help out quite a bit in actually managing these team fights And obviously, I mean, the big thing is that it turns off the mechanism. It makes it much easier for the Slark to kill a lot of these heroes. And last ban here is going to be the Clockwork. So we'll see how Alliance do choose to round it up. Hard to say what they're going to draft with this new drafter, new teammates. But this just looks like a pretty conventional draft. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Hani is quite the Slark player. If that's where they decide to put him. I mean, I think that's definitely one of his better heroes.
Yep. Loda also a big Slark player, so.
Loda seems to be quite lately, at least, quite amazing. Honestly, one of the standout players I think for Alliance.
5 seconds remaining.
And this is Zeus. Okay.
All right. So they actually so they have pretty much 3 solos. So we're probably gonna see this Ogre Ancient Apparition just roaming around. So I imagine the Zeus will be in the off lane. And I mean, I suppose it is possible that they do Slark, Ogre, Ancient Apparition, Aggressive, Zeus mid, and Viper safe lane.
10 seconds
That is a possibility, but
well, we'll find out. Support Zeus has also been
5
in.
seconds remaining.
I mean, it's been played a little bit recently. Hard to say exactly how this is going to play out, but I mean, there's maybe a world where this is just like an off lane Ogre with Zeus as a support, but I think I don't love that. I don't love that.
I mean, I suppose that is an option as well.
Yeah. And it's going to be Loda on the Slark. Batrider is the last pick here for the Power Rangers, and
Batrider. Whoa.
Gives them some nice initiation in the team fights.
Yeah, but this really like screws up their lanes. So it's gonna be a tied mid, and then an offlane Batrider and a jungle Enigma. Also, they're gonna have Batrider and Enigma, so 2 heroes that really want to utilize that jungle.
Yeah, that pick definitely feels a bit greedy, or it also feels just kind of like all in on these team fights, you know? Because I mean, I guess it gives them an opportunity for pickoffs to start better team fights. But interesting pick here by Power Rangers to round out their lineup, and
10 seconds
we are going to be heading into the game shortly. Hani is going to be up on that Zeus. And again,
5
guys, you're
seconds
watching
remaining.
DotaPit Season number 2 with sponsors Sapphire, AMD, Twitch, Tesoro, and Sennheiser. And we are going to hop into the game now. Oh my god, my dude, I'm so sick of Dota settings. Everything, nothing ever works. Open mic, I toggled it. Didn't come on. Life is. It's even working here, and then it's just not. What a world we live in.
Was I talking to myself?
You know, I think
Dota
there's a possibility, but we're back in. It's working now, no issues, and we'll see how the lanes settle out here for Power Rangers. I'm interested, but it's going to be Loda on the Slark. Aki's going to be on the Ancient Apparition. Hani going to be on that Zeus. My Nuts on the Ogre Magi, and Ace going to be on the Viper. For this new Alliance crew, they're going to run into Ditya Ra from Power Rangers. Looks like they were going to... No altercation in the jungle here. It was pretty close, though. They're just looking to put down some wards, give them some vision here. And this maybe is going to be indicative of that aggro try. They're warding the pole camp. Also plop one down here. So, for Power Rangers, quick introductions here is Ditya Ra on the Weaver. And we have, oh god, Sonokyu. Snako. I can never pronounce that guy's name. On the Witch Doctor. Shocklow is going to be on the Tide Hunter. It looks like in the mid lane. Cheshire Cat on the Batrider in top lane. And J4 on the Enigma. So, lanes are going to settle out here. And it looks like it is going to be a mid Zeus going up against a mid Tide Hunter.
Yep. And Alliance actually not opting to block any of the standard Enigma camps on the left side. So... But it does...
Looks like... Are they just going to dual lane? Interesting. Looks like it's just going to be straight up dual lanes for Alliance, at least for the moment. My Nuts is going to be paired up with Ace down in the bottom lane. Interesting.
This is actually a pretty... I think this is perfectly fine, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they'll be able to manage this lane, and DRA actually needs to be a bit careful here, although it is not Fire Blast. So. Looks like he's gonna be okay.
Just gonna get harassed. He does have 2 tangos, so should be okay.
From these early laning setups, who do you favor?
I mean, I think Alliance's laning setups are better just because they have the... Actually, Tide probably doesn't do too bad against Zeus because
Just does,
Zeus not really a hero that auto attacks you, just constantly spamming the spells. So as long as he gets that early bottle, picks up a magic stick, he should be perfectly fine in this mid lane.
I think the other two lanes are very, very good, obviously, for Alliance. Top lane being 2v1 against that Bat Rider. They don't have... I mean, in theory, I think Loda really shouldn't ever be able to get a pounce off, but we'll see if that will be the case. Tidehunter is taking a lot of damage in middle. Now his bottle comes out. It should be okay.
It is a little surprising that this Enigma is actually just completely ignoring his own jungle and just jungling the enemy jungle. But
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe with
guess
those
it's gonna work
bottom lane,
okay.
though, Dira eats one stun. In comes the Ignite as well. Is he going to fall? He's getting healed up. No, is going to go down. Minet's going to pick up the first blood for Alliance. They did have that Sentry Ward placed down here, and that gives them a good first blood on Dira, and that's the Fire Blast. I mean, just a strong stun. And they have a lot of damage with Viper as well.
and Sakuchi on that really long cooldown at level 1, so you have to be really careful about how you use it.
Yep, and Dira is still level 1, so a little bit of a slow start for him, only with just 1 CS actually at this point. So bottom lane, it's not working out nearly as well as Power Rangers wanted. Top lane is going all right, though, as, again, they don't really have a great way to lock down the Bat Rider, so he already has a couple of CS.
But Slark does a pretty good job against Bat Rider.
Obviously, he can purge off the stacks. That's a pretty nice advantage.
And they are getting a point in cold feet, so if they are able to get a pounce off, he's probably going to end up falling. I expect maybe to see something like an Orb of Venom coming out from Ake, just to put, or Loda, sorry, just to get some additional kill pressure on Cheshire Cat.
Yeah, Shock Cloak. I mean, this is the only worry I have for this lane, is if you just get nuked down by the bolt. I mean, that's a real thing. Obviously, Kraken Shell not going to help it as it does normally. So that's something they do have to worry about. Bat Rider hiding in the trees here. This bottom lane is kind of a disaster, honestly, for Power Rangers. Weaver just has nothing.
If we look at Hani's skill build, he actually goes for 2 in arc laning. I don't think I've ever seen this before.
Yeah, that's definitely not what we're used to seeing. But I think, I mean, it will guarantee him pretty much all the CS in the lane. He shouldn't really miss any.
Yeah, and he's actually going to go for an early Soul Ring, so looking to spam out a lot of spells under the Tidehunter, and I don't think Tide can actually deal with this.
Yeah, this is an interesting skill build, but like you said, I think it is going to work out here. I mean, Tide doesn't have great mobility to make sure he always gets the runes. I mean, obviously Zeus doesn't either, but it's going to be hard for him to rely on that to make sure he can stay in lane. Maybe he can just try to Bottle Crow to get enough HP, but Zeus has a lot of nukes.
The Zeus is probably just going to spam out the waves with the Arc Lightning.
Yeah. So moving forward, we have a bit of a pause here just for, looks like Shocklow, the one to pause and figure out what's going on here in a second if it continues. But early game, I think, very handily, Alliance. I mean, Tidehunter is getting good farm though. He's 21 CS against the 19 of the Zeus, but I think that's going to change here in the next couple of minutes. I expect we'll see the Zeus start to take the advantage as he starts to get more levels. You know, gets to level 7, wherever he chooses to max out here. Bolt is now, well, I guess level 7 won't max anything out, but Bolt is now level 2, so that's increasing in damage. So.
And Zeus, not really a hero that is able to win the lane early. He sort of wins the war of attrition where he just constantly spams you with spells. His his damage for mana is extremely efficient, so usually even if both players are bottle crowing, eventually he forces you back to base at some point.
Yep, and oh god, that horse emote. One of the best things to ever enter. Well, best or worst, I'm not sure yet. To enter
I don't
Dota.
even know what it's supposed to be though. Like all
horse.
the other ones, yeah, but there's no horses.
Avedon rides a horse, kind of.
Sure, okay,
Yeah.
I'll allow
How
it.
about that?
I mean, there's skateboards in this game.
Yeah. Well, we Han now.
Yep.
Trying to figure out exactly what's going on here. Was no. All right, Choclo has just dropped his keyboard and he's decided he doesn't want to deal with the Zeus anymore, so he's just walked away. And,
He is going on.
yeah, I don't know what that means.
He's sad.
Oh God.
Oh my.
I'm try to push this along here. I don't know exactly what's going on, but we'll try to figure it out. But Alliance, where are they going to go? It looks like Loda has picked up the Orb of Venom, like you were mentioning. I mean, do you even stop for drums now on Slark, or do you just go like Treads, Blink, Scotty? Like, what's the skill build, or what's the item build lately?
I think most people are just going Treads, Blink for the most part.
Yeah.
We do see the drums getting picked up occasionally. Sometimes people going for that Midas, but the typical build, just the... And I'm not sure that you really want to go for a Midas this game, because I feel like if you are able to snowball this game... Alright, so Chachlo is finally back. We have no idea what's going on because he didn't actually say anything.
Yep. Just, just pro Dota things.
That casual pause.
Cheshire Cat does have the good old double ring of protection build, and obviously, I mean that's for Bat Rider, it's fine. It can build into Tranquils, obviously. And...
Yep. And the double ring of protection is the most cost-efficient, effective HP against physical damage.
Yep.
So,
of which there is a lot. I mean, oh boy, Cheshire Cat looks like he is. Well, yeah, he's dead. Gets locked out. Oh, they don't kill him. All right, he's still dead. All right, they just barely got him there, but that was really close. Ra falls in the bottom lane as well, and suddenly it's 3-0.
Ake missed the auto attack from the low ground. That was actually really close. And Loda almost falling to the tower trying to secure that kill.
Yeah, in the end, he is going to be all right. Heals back up immediately, and to be honest, all these lanes sort of just crumbled there for Power Rangers. Choclo went back to base. Bottom lane died again. Top lane, they get a kill on the Bat Rider.
Yeah, this safe lane a real disaster right now for Power Rangers. The one good thing about what's currently going on is that Enigma does have free farm in the Dire jungle, so that's probably...
I mean, he only has a soul ring. Is that really all he has? That's all he has.
He's about to pick up some boots, so he is actually gonna take over this off lane, allow his friend, the Bat Rider, to start stacking up the
bottom lane. They engage, take down the Witch Doctor. Ra gonna make it out of here, looks like. And they use the Zeus ulti for that one.
Oh boy. This lane is not going
this lane
well.
is just pretty much... I mean, what do you even do, though, at this point? Where can the Weaver go?
I mean, this is sort of the problem with their draft. So they can't actually make very many rotations. Especially because now that the Enigma's in the top lane, he could possibly rotate to bottom, but then they just aren't being very efficient with their map usage because Bat Rider is now stacking and going to try to farm up the jungle. So, I mean, Power Rangers are in a difficult position, and we said this is something that can happen when you're running these really greedy laners. They don't really have anything that can gank. Sure, the Tidehunter and Enigma can maybe try to use their ultimates early in the game just to pick up some singular kills, but
yeah, that's true. That's a possibility. But we'll find out. I mean, Choclo has 1,000 gold. Chance that he's just going to be running right for the Blink Dagger here, and they're going to try to win their early team fights just as soon as possible with the Ravage. And that could be a way back into this game. I mean, Ravage is a really powerful ability, obviously, and we've seen more than once a Ravage team fight can help bring you back into the game, but they need to be careful here because every other lane is really just not working out at all. Tidehunter is still getting good CS, so that lane may be going a bit better than we anticipated. But the rest of these lanes, I mean, looking at just the CS, are pretty much a disaster. Net worth looks the same.
And Hani does have that regen rune, so this Tide gonna have a really tough
bottom
time.
lane. Wow, they killed Ra again. Caught the very tail end of that one. And nowhere is just safe for this bottom lane anymore. This isn't even a level 6 yet on the Ogre Magi, and this lane is going to get really just, it's impossible already, and it's going to get even worse. And with Zeus getting that kill, he now takes the lead in net worth, so just nothing going the way of Power Rangers except for this Tidehunter in the mid lane getting some decent farm.
Yeah, and at this point they've abandoned their off lane, so I mean, what can they do at this point? They're gonna probably have to try to use the black hole. Yeah, it looks like he is gonna TP bottom, but
if they don't win this team fight, this game might just be like unwinnable because
yeah,
they need to, if they use black hole, they don't win the team fight. All they have left is Ravage, and it's just getting really bad for them. And it looks like Alliance are just gonna rotate out of the bottom lane. Ace is nearing his own mechanism, and J4 is actually still quite far away from his.
And Alliance actually doing a really good job making sure that they don't overcommit or overstay their welcome on the bot lane.
Oh boy, they're smoking up.
They are going to smoke up, and this probably is going to be the end of J4.
Yeah, and that's going to maybe let them push into the tower now, and J4 eats a stun. There's the Fire Blast following up, and he is just dead completely. Does not even let him get close enough. Aki should, oh, it's going to be really close.
It's gonna be okay.
You know, he's gonna, oh, he might run into the Bat Rider. Cheshire Cat's here. Aki's gonna fall just as TPing out, but it might be okay with that trade. They're just continuing to disrupt the jungling. This will delay the mechanism even further. Unfortunate for Aki that he dies there, but delaying the mech, delaying the team fight potential is a really, really good way for Alliance.
I mean, look how poor this Weaver is. Sitting at 250 gold. This is not a hero that comes back into games.
Yeah, he can't really flash farm. With the Maelstrom, I mean, I guess it's a little bit better now that you can purchase that item, but I mean, he doesn't really have nearly as good of a flash farming mechanism as a lot of carries do to get back into it. You know, he's not a Luna with glaives that can spam down waves. He's not an Anti-Mage with a Battle Fury. He's just a bug.
Radiant's top tower is under
Just a
attack.
bug. Probably one of the more snowballing carries as far as you really have to have that early start just so that you can start fighting as soon as possible. But
and interestingly, Shaklo actually stops for the Arcane Boots before finishing that Blink. He does have this very large stack here, so when he finishes that one up, he'll basically have the Blink Dagger as well.
I mean, I think this is okay just because even if he had a Blink right now, who could he really kill? His team is actually really struggling right now, so just gonna look to do this stack at some point with his Arcane Boots. He can't actually do this right now. He only has 2 points in Kraken Shell.
He's gonna put some damage on it here. Pops the stick. He's doing all right.
He is losing a lot of HP.
Yeah, he needs the next point in Kraken Shell. When he kills a bunch of these creeps here, he will get it. But it's gonna be close. Hopefully he doesn't die. Oh god. Looks like he's gonna be alright. DER around now is rotated up to the top lane. Level 6 is completed. But Slark is level 9. He actually has stopped for the Hand of Midas, so Loda gonna be hard farming this game, and Bat Rider does finish up the Blink Dagger. So there's a couple things going in the direction here for Power Rangers. I mean, getting this Blink Dagger on Shaklo is going to be important, which he's going to have here in just a second. And they're also going to have the Blink Dagger on the Bat Rider. So maybe there's some initiation tools here to let them get back into this game. And the one thing I would say is if Zeus realizes what Shaklo is doing, he might die, but no, he's going to be okay. Picks up the Blink Dagger. And we'll see. I mean, this is now Power Rangers' time to fight, I think. Maybe they wait for the mechanism to be finished for J4, but it looks like that's still quite a bit of ways. And they need to make something happen soon because Alliance is really just out-farming them, getting much more out of the map with these heroes like clumped up into the jungle. Weaver not really getting any CS. Looks like they're going to make a stand here on bottom lane.
Yeah, but there is this well-placed observer ward coming out from Alliance, so they are going to be able to see any rotations unless they smoke. And they actually smoke just outside of vision.
Yeah, very, very close. And nice smoke spot there. They, whoa, my nuts. We'll see if you actually notice that. In comes the A ultimate. They also drop in. But there's a black hole. Shaklo's here as well. The death ward. That's the team fight that Power Rangers needed to get back into this one. They killed only 2, but the only thing I'm worried about is they use everything for that. Every freaking ultimate they have.
Radiant's top
So
tower
they
is
use the
under
Death
attack.
Ward, the Black Hole, and the Ravage, so these ultimates not going to be available for quite some time. And I think this is... They actually... Not even that bad for Alliance. They trade 2 for 1. They
That could have
only
been
had
much
2
worse.
heroes. They only had 2 heroes in the bot line, so... Actually a pretty decent trade for Alliance, considering the cooldowns burned, how many heroes were down there, so...
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, they win the fight, not barely, but I mean, they use every single ability they have, and now Alliance knows for the next 100 seconds, they can pretty much do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Mechanism completed for Ace now as well, and Batrider is going to be...
I expect them to start heavily pressuring this bottom lane with the Viper Ogre.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for them not to at this point.
Yep, even another AA ult coming in the bot lane, and if this hits Cheshire Cat, he might be in some trouble.
Oh, they're going to run down straight through here. They are going to corner him. There he eats the Fire Blast, the Ignite as well. He's going to try to do something here, but he's going to go down. Ogre just so tanky. Look at how much HP Ogre has. Almost 1,200. Level 8 with 2 Gauntlets of Strength, and that is it.
Radiant's
and
bottom
10
tower
armor.
is under attack.
That is a lot of armor.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Whatever. He is getting 2 armor from the Ring of Basilius.
Lotus has been quiet this game. 0-0-1. But he has been farming quite a bit, and he does catch Ditya Ra. Nice pounce there. And looks like he is going to make it out, but good pounce. Bottom lane is going to fall. Alliance continuing the pressure now that they know that everything's on cooldown. Force Staff for Hani was the first item even before the Arcanes. Now the Arcanes are finished up as well, giving him some much needed mobility. One of the strongest criticisms of Zeus is just his complete lack of mobility, so this is going to help out with that.
And...
Oh, this is awkward. Oh, the Courier! Minot's almost smacks down the Courier, although he is in a really hard position now. The ultimates are still not up, so maybe there's a way he can wander out of this one. The Ignite is going to come out here. And there's the Zeus ultimate, perhaps. Alliance are going to try to turn this one back around with the Viper. Drops down the ultimate. In comes Cheshire Cat, grabs him with the lasso. The Ravage is back up. The Death Ward going down. Ace mechs up, trying to live through it. Still, he's alive. Out comes the Ravage. Ace looks like he is going to fall now. They overstay their welcome just a bit. Loda maybe going to come back in as all these heroes have no HP. Fire Blast going to take down one. Loda going back in on Shocklow, going to bring him down as well. And Power Rangers just with no HP, no staying power without the... Well, the mech actually is there. Oh, he gets hit by an Ice Blast. Is that going to be enough to kill him? It looks like it's going to be fairly close.
Well, that's not enough.
Just barely not enough. One more auto attack, he probably would have died.
Yep. So, you know, Power Rangers not too... I mean, they're actually doing a really good job. Even for how one-sided this game is.
Aki is... Oh, just... Can this is really happening? Aki just lived through Weaver.
Is he living?
Dire's
Oh my
top
god.
tower is
That's
under attack.
when you gotta be discouraged if you're Ditya Ra. You can't even kill the AA.
I mean, he's just so poor. Although he is doing a decent job recovering, he does have the treads up on top of additional 1100 gold, and I think the real key to this game is the timing of Tidehunter's Refresher. So he does go for the Oblivion Staff first, and I think this could actually be a really big item in this game.
Yeah, it can bring them back around here. Like we mentioned, the natural BKB carriers, not really a thing for the Alliance. Actually are going to smoke up here. Looking for another kill. Loda has the Blink Dagger now as well with that Midas and Treads. Look for him to move towards Scotty. A ultimate's going to be off the mark, but they are going to catch Cheshire Cat. Ultimate use. He gets blown up in just a second. J4 comes back in, does have the Black Hole. My nuts, maybe going to fall here. Down goes the Sentry Ward. Is going to fall. Viper gets top
Space
tower,
being
though.
created. Viper's able to push
Hani.
in the top lane.
Hani, there's a Sentry Ward here. He needs to be careful there. Oh, he's going to know. Has to Force Staff away. He was actually just out of range of the Sentry Ward. And now he's going to fall as a result. So Alliance getting a little cheeky. Lose a couple of heroes.
Yeah. That'll probably just affect experience. I expect gold to still be going into the favor of Alliance, as they did pick up that top tower during all of that. And they were still farming up all the lanes, while Power Rangers pretty much relegated into their jungle.
Yeah, they can't really go anywhere. There's just a lot of burst damage from the Alliance. I mean, they have the Ogre, they have the Zeus, and Loda catches forward, somehow hits the pounce on DRA, who then uses the time lapse, and Loda just being a bully on this Weaver.
And Loda going for the point booster, so it looks like he's gonna start working towards that Scotty. Ake working on his own Midas, about to pick that up.
17 minutes, oh boy. Well, I mean, I guess Alliance know that if they go late, then that's really... Well, if it goes late is the only way that Power Rangers can really win. And I think him stopping for that Midas doesn't really hurt that. It just gives him the Aghanims probably a little bit faster.
Yeah. I think more importantly, you get those levels that you really need on Ancient Apparition with the Midas pickup, so... It's not an uncommon build to see onto Ancient Apparition, especially in the Chinese Dota scene. I think that's going to be...
Choclo going to move forward, has the Ravage, is going to use that on Ace. Death Ward goes down as well. Ultimate coming down. He does still have the mech. There, he finally used it. Choclo is going to go down. Ace just barely dying. And if they're trading 1-for-1 with Ravage being used, that is not okay for Power Rangers. Now they're just going to get stomped with pressure if this moves forward. They do still have the black hole, but J4 can't really seem to get in a position where he can actually get a black hole and not just die immediately.
And I mean, that's just what happens when you blow everything onto a Viper with that mechanism. Viper being extremely tanky, they go ahead and blow the Ravage, the Death Ward, but he just tanks it too much. The AA ult comes in, the Zeus ult comes in, and they only end up trading 1-for-1 with the Ravage being expended, so...
That's, I mean... Power Rangers are looking for more than a 1-for-1 when they use these big ultimates. So, DRA is still slowly recovering here. Might get caught. Loda off the mark. And it looks like they do not have any other detection. So DRA most likely going to make it out of this one unless he... no, Zeus is way up in the top lane. We'll find out. Loda almost gets him there. Looks like the pressure now is just going to continue. With the Ravage down, I mean, the thing about the Enigma is if he doesn't have a BKB, if he doesn't have a Blink Dagger, it's actually really hard for him to get these early black holes off without the setup from the Ravage because he's relying on just wandering up and hitting the black hole, and that is just not going to happen.
Yeah, and it looks like he is going to go for that BKB on Enigma that we see pretty much most of the time unless there's a hero that can cancel it through BKB, but...
Oh, wow. Did Hani just get soloed?
No. He got death warded with the lasso.
That's rough.
He's a little bit upset about that. Oh, that's why he's upset. He just lost a point booster.
Oh my god.
So it looks like he was actually dropped the point booster so that he could bottle up.
Mid lane though, DRA taking pressure. A ultimate is going to come in, and that's going to land on J4 only. But oh man, Hani has to be a little bit salty about that one. That's the risk you run. I mean, this happens more often than you would think in Pro Dota, so he's got to he's unhappy about that.
I bet he had his mana boost on the ground too while he was bottling, and he was... Oh, that's actually so unfortunate.
Zeus ulti's going to come in. That's going to spot out the Witch Doctor, who is going to promptly die.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And Honey's shooting off that ultimate probably a little.
Honestly,
that's got to be tilting. I mean, it's
a big deal.
1,200 gold is not
1,200 gold and the kill. So I mean, that singular kill was worth like 1,600 gold for Power Rangers.
Oh boy.
And the Witch Doctor, you know, he has two of his components towards that Aghanim Scepter. It's way too early to count out Power Rangers at this point. We talked about
some
how
things are going their way. Like
the Refresher Orb is going to be a key item on this tide, and Alliance don't really have the workings of any early BKBs, so this Refresher could end up being a really huge pickup for Power Rangers. And we talked about how Enigma Loda is going to be going on Cheshire Cat on the top lane.
Gonna be close here. The ultimate is gonna come in. That's gonna land on Cheshire Cat. He goes down. Nice ultimate there by Aki.
Yeah, really well played by Aka. And we talked about how Enigma is going to struggle a little bit to get off these black holes, but if there is two Ravages, I think he can easily just walk up and black hole them.
Yeah, if there's two Ravages, then, you know, walking up and black holing is definitely something that can happen. I mean, the other thing is, if there's two Ravages in the Death Ward, is there even anyone left? Probably will be some cleanup, I guess. But
I mean, if there's an Aghanims in Witch Doctor, probably not.
yeah, he's nearing that. Viper, Ags as well, and Alliance have not really capitalized. They have not killed a single tier 2 here. And now Power Rangers are battling back into it.
Alliance not really having a way to abuse the Roshan on the dire side, even with their extremely large advantage. Maybe they should have gotten a medallion on one of these support heroes. I think that would have been a smart choice. You know, it does slow the progression of both of their Aghanims, but they would have been able probably to take a Roshan by now.
Yeah, Loda has finished up the Scotty, so that's a fairly big item for these Slarks. Makes it much easier for them to connect for a long period of time in the team fights. Also, of course, giving him a bunch of HP, and it's a strong item on this hero. One of the only heroes we see regularly pick it up. The AR maybe going to be the target of a gank here in the bottom lane. The Ogre is coming in. They're going to try to get off the Fire Blast. How do they still not have detection? How is that real? It seems like a huge mistake, but top lane, they are going to initiate here. Loda is lassoed up. Shocklow does have the Ravage. They're going to use the Black Hole. Loda, he's stuck in the Black Hole. Ravage going to be used as well. That's going to bring him down. Aki now maybe going to be the target. Ace is coming in. Needs to get the mech off to save Aki. Is not going to use it. Just too late. Shocklow is going to go down. Are they going to get anything else for their troubles? The Lightning Bolt still on cooldown. Blink away as well. And Loda, I mean, they lose the fight. Alliance. That was not a good fight for them.
And it's not like Alliance are able to put pressure onto these towers after these fights. So every time Power Rangers use both of these... So currently Power Rangers having no teamfight ultimates other than the Death Ward, so unable to currently take a fight. But what can Alliance really do at this point? They have no real tower damage. They can't abuse this Roshan, so...
This is part of my problem with heroes like Zeus.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good for getting these pickoffs, but... We've seen, I mean, in this new metagame, these early pickoffs matter a lot less.
I mean, I think Zeus is better when you have a hero that can destroy buildings quickly. Because,
I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting at, is they don't really have someone that can do that, you know? Viper is like okay, I guess, but...
I mean, this is sort of the problem. The only real hero that they have that's good at killing buildings is this Viper. But... I mean, he really doesn't do that much damage.
Minot's going to definitely be taking a fall here in the jungle. Gets death warded. Now Loda going to recommit, trying to take down the Witch Doctor. They are going to get the Lightning Bolt off. That's going to stop the Witch Doctor from TPing out. Loda ultimate, trying to find someone else to connect on. So they trade 1 for 1. Ogre for Witch Doctor. Death ward used, and I think that is it. Yeah, that's all the ultimates they use for that one.
So Refresher now completed on to Shocklow, up to another 1,200 gold. So I expect him to either go for a Force Staff or a Shiva's Guard. Both items very good in this game, so we'll have to see what he decides to do.
Ra has gone for the BKB as his next choice.
Yep. So BKB now completed on 2 of these heroes on Power Rangers, actually.
And now Alliance realized that they're in a bit of a tough position, so they're going to wander into the Roche Pit, try to secure this one, and Loda is, I guess, going to kill this pretty quickly, but it's going to be spotted out here by this Enigma. Are they really in a position to do anything about it is the question. If they get double Ravage in the pit, there could be a big issue here for Alliance. Roche is not exactly dying quickly.
Yeah,
nice ultimate. Wow, nice ultimate by Aki. They blew the Zeus ultimate as well to push them away.
And we talked about this before. Alliance not really having very much damage to Roshan, but you know, now that they have a couple items on the Slark and the Viper, they can do it regardless of what heroes they have, so.
TP in here by Ace. Is that going to be the death of him? There's the lasso. They have to use the Force Staff as well, dragging him back underneath the tower. Now is all of Power Rangers, but Ace is going to be going down, getting some damage off beforehand. The rest of Alliance now converging. Loda comes in. He's going to try to blow up J4, who does use the BKB to no avail. There's the Ravage, but it only catches on 1. They can't do anything with it. This is not the fight Power Rangers want. He refreshes before going down, but that's not going to be enough for the second Ravage. Now Loda coming back into that fight takes that one by storm.
So I would say a pretty large mistake from Power Rangers. I think after you kill the Viper, you have the Enigma. After he gets initiated on Slark, you just leave him, because that's probably not a fight that you're going to be able to win. And Power Rangers taking the fight under the tier 2 tower. I would say a bit of a mistake, but
Dire's middle tower
I don't even know what it's going to cost them. Like, it seems like every time Alliance find these pickoffs, it doesn't really seem to cost Power Rangers anything.
Ra taking some damage here, does still have the time lapse, but that will put him in very dangerous territory. Oh wow, he actually BKBs, then time lapses backwards, and Death Ward from the high ground. Wow, is this actually gonna get 2 kills here? Loda's coming back up. It is gonna get 1. Loda now going to work. Minot's gonna live, and it looks like he is going to die, but that was quite the hero play right there. It is going to cost Hani his life, and this Witch Doctor seems to have an influence.
Did that just happen?
I can't believe that was just like one of those things that you think will never happen, and he gets the double cask off. Oh man.
Oh my god, that was, I mean, he just did so much. He just took his Zeus down from full. He has a Bloodstone. Like, this Zeus is actually quite tanky.
Man, that's his first charge is going down, and that's the Aghanim's Witch Doctor, man.
I can trust you guys.
That was quite the play coming out from Witch Doctor. He does end up falling, but it's definitely worth it for him to get the kill on the Zeus.
Shockley going to be going for the Shiva's Guard next, looks like. That going to be quite good against a lot of the auto attacking from Alliance. Just a strong item in this game. Slows down everything from Alliance, so I like that pickup quite a bit. You talked already about how that's a nice pickup. And Ra, where is he going to go next? That's my question. Has not had a lot of success yet this game. 3-3-2. Is over 100 CS now, so he's battling his way back into it. But still quite low on about mid-range of net worth.
And the Basher now picked up on Lotus, so no surprises there, going for the extremely standard Sark build. I would like to see a BKB next item. I think he is susceptible right now to the double Ravage.
Yep.
Possibly even into Black Hole. I mean, it just depends. It's so dependent on how these fights go.
Yeah, the biggest problem is that BKB is like not amazing, obviously, because there's the Black Hole and the Death Ward. But without the BKB, the possibility of you just dying to 1 Ravage is extremely high. So.
And I would say the one thing that is keeping Alliance in this game is how poorly Ra had, like how poor his early game was.
Yeah, Alliance gonna find Shockley here, but the rest of the team not too far behind. They're going to initiate on Ace once again. Viper gets pulled back underneath the tower. Our Alliance going to try to re-engage on this one. It looks like Shocklow is up near the top. The Death Ward is used now, with Shocklow is wandering forward. Wants to try to get in a position here to get a better ultimate off. Loda going to move forward. Shocklow waiting on the Ravage. He's only going to get 1 off. Maybe is he going to get the second one? He does not have a lot of HP. Down goes Ra. He gets multi-casted. Looks like the second Ravage not going to be happening. He gets lightning bolted. Double kill for Hani. Alliance just, that was are they even supposed to win these fights?
No.
Does he not have enough mana or something? What happened there?
He's actually just holding on to the Ravage too long when he gets initiated by Loda.
Loda gets a lot of hits off that drains some of his stats, obviously, and Aki
oh,
is
that's
going
what
to
happened
fall here.
actually.
I think I have to imagine that's what happened.
Because he does have enough mana with the double mana bits.
Yeah. Cheshire Cat looks like he is going to get out of here.
And these last couple Ravages have not been that effective because Loda is able to get the jump onto the Tidehunter, pops that Shadow Dance, and combining with the Zeus ultimate.
Yeah, he's forcing these early Ravages just through pressure. Yeah. I mean, he knows that he's not really at risk, especially with this Aegis here healing up. He uses his ultimate, and the Shadow Dance just makes it so he can heal up while the Ravage is happening. So nice play by Alliance in these last couple of fights, as Power Rangers not really able to connect with these ultimates like we were hoping that they could have. I mean, we haven't really seen, double Ravage. There hasn't really been a clean team fight. If there is one, I think Power Rangers should win it pretty handily, but Alliance are just not giving it to them.
Yeah, if there's a clean team fight, I think it's definitely going to favor Power Rangers, at least at this point in the game.
There's an Ags on Aki.
Yeah.
That's certainly going to make things more difficult. 17 seconds of no heal. Obviously, that's going to hurt the Witch Doctor. That hurts the mechanism that they've had. And there's just so much damage from Alliance. I mean, the Zeus can just nuke down these heroes. Ra needs to be a bit more careful here. There is a sentry in this mid lane, so he needs to be careful. Alliance looked sketchy there for a little bit, but now they're winning these team fights again. They're going back up in net worth and gold. And it looks like Power Rangers are looking for that legit team fight we were talking about. Ra is going to get multicasted. They're going to move forward. They are going to grab up the Ogre. How much does that even matter? though, to Alliance. Minus is still alive. In comes the A ultimate. That's only going to land on one. Down goes the Ogre Magi, and I don't think they really want to push into these Ravages. They're going to be careful with the way they engage this. Yeah, they're not even doing that.
So they smoke and kill the Ogre, and then two of them actually end up TPing back to base. So a little bit odd coming out from Power Rangers. They do now have the gem on the Batrider, so...
There's also a Blink Dagger on J4, so that gives them a little bit more initiation.
Oh, that kill
well.
actually... Oh, Ogre had a gem, okay. So that was actually a big kill.
Well, that gives them maybe the hope of getting some map control back here, but Slark has 5,000 gold. So it looks like the time for BKB might have passed here. I mean, he could basically purchase that up.
I think it's just going to go Abyssal now.
Yeah, that's what I have to imagine.
If he initiates onto this Tidehunter and then Abyssals him, waits for the Kraken Shield to proc, and then ults.
You can hear it proc too, and Shocklow going to try to make it out of here. They're going to try to hit him. No bashes though for Loda, and he's going to wish that he had the Abyssal Blade for that one.
Yeah. Maybe he might... I mean, there's still a possibility that he goes for the BKB just because he doesn't have the Aegis anymore, so maybe going to play it a bit safer, but just have to see what he decides to do this game.
Ping's going up, and nope, that's just you. We're gonna get back underway here for DotaPit season number 2.
Give me my point booster. Where is it anyways?
Wow, he broke it. That's mean. Alright, we're gonna get back underway here. And it looks like the Witch Doctor is going to be going for the BKB, so he's not going to get any chidings from F4L for going for that Shadow Blade build that Bulba seems to like to do.
That's shadowing.
No further comments on that one. And DRA gonna TP out of here from the bottom lane. Should make it out. Alliance are looking like maybe they want to group up, but grouping up I'm not sure is really where they want to be at, you know? Grouping up doesn't seem like the way that they win these fights. They want to catch these heroes off guard. They want to catch them by themselves. And Loda has 6,000 gold. He should probably purchase an item.
Yeah. And, I mean, Loda is just absolutely massive at this point in the game. He's going to have that benefit of the Bloodlust, which does give him a little bit of additional attack speed and move speed. Up to 20,000 gold. The next highest net worth at 13,000. So he is really huge right now. Gonna go ahead and pick up that Abyssal Blade. And...
Looks like Power Rangers have some idea of what's going on here. They're very grouped up. I think they recognize that there's a smoke gank happening.
It's actually quite funny because when he goes on this Tidehunter, we talked about it in the previous fight, but he actually doesn't have...
There's the ultimate from Zeus. That reveals everyone. Does stop the damage though. Only one was revealed already. There goes the Batrider. He's moving in on Ace, who gets death warded as well. Enigma already dead, though, in the other part of the fight. And down goes Ace. The death ward still channeling here. Rock coming back. Minus taking damage. Are they going to re-engage on this? Loda on the low ground. This is a very awkward place for him to be. Aki now getting run down. Loda coming back into the fight. He goes on. No, he's Yule's up in the air. There's the Ravage on the Minuts. Shocklow does not have enough mana for the next Ravage. Just now has enough. Is he going to use it again? Yes, he is. They're going to go to work on Minuts here. And this fight is all over the place. 3 are down, though, in the end, forming the Alliance. And, oh, they are going to catch Tidehunter in the woods. What a weird fight spread all over the place. All these Blink Daggers coming into play.
So they end up trading the mid and the 2 supports on Power Rangers for the one of the cores and 2 supports for Alliance. So a pretty even trade. Although I would say Alliance does come out ahead just because they don't expend these long cooldown ultimates. It's going to be 150 seconds before the Tide has the double Ravage again. And Tide's actually really struggling to get both of these Ravages off. So I think the Shiva's Guard definitely going to be quite important.
Yeah, it'll be nice to him to have that extra intelligence to make sure he gets those off.
The other problem is that when Sark initiates on him, I actually think if he gets hit, 3 or 4 times, losing that 3 or 4 intelligence is actually quite an issue for him.
Zeus ultimate's going to come in. Loda is hunting down. Cheshire Cat here is going to miss. Firefly coming in. The Courier looks like it might have been at risk as well, but the Octopus is going to make it out of here.
And
Roach is going to come back up in just a second.
I mean, can Ditgera carry this into the late game? He is going to go for an MKB, it looks like, picking up the 2 javelins. I mean, I suppose if this game goes late enough and they get, you know, the refresher on Enigma, once the Weaver gets some items, you know, it's going to be very difficult for Alliance at that point.
Yeah, I agree. And we also saw this Yules in the last fight, putting someone out of it. And that's actually pretty important there for the Batrider to be able to get that off, lift someone out of the fight so they can concentrate down
But,
a couple of other
and
heroes.
this is sort of the problem that Power Rangers are going to have for the rest of the game, is these Aegises. And I mean, they're struggling to even kill Loda once, and now that he can just play with complete impunity right now. He's just going to run at them.
He also has 5,000 gold again, so maybe a BKB going to be coming soon. Loda is so good at just getting farm no matter what's happening. And looks like they are going to TP a couple heroes back to maybe defend. But Alliance actually going to TP a lot back here. They need to make sure they actually save this tier 2 with how much they're committing to this. In comes the ultimate from Aki. That's going to land on Ditya Ra. Looks like they are going to push them back at least a little bit here. 20 seconds until we have 2 Ravages for the Tide Hunter. Ani being very annoying. He's dewarding with his bolts. Well,
so the MKB picked up on Ditgera, so finally getting up some right-click damage. I mean, in these previous fights, he's pretty much a tickle monster.
Yeah, he's not really done much.
Although he still might be, actually, to be perfectly honest. I think he's gonna need at least 1 more damage item.
This will get him in the right direction.
Crit. But I mean, if he goes something like a crit, I mean, he's only sitting at 1400 HP. It's actually so easy for him to die right now. Or even Abyssaled.
Yeah, if he gets Abyssaled or AA ulted, plus, you know, any stun, whether that's Abyssal or multicast.
I mean, look at how much damage just the Zeus ult does.
Oh, Shocklow. He's going to get locked down into place, and he's going to die with both Ravages off cooldown, although he does have buyback, so if Alliance turns this into a base push, he can buy back, try to turn the fight around. Dead for 72 seconds. That might be something he has to do, as Alliance are now grouping up, going to charge down the mid lane. They lose their tier 1 bottom. Not too much of a concern for them, to be honest. So they're going to bring the pressure. It's time. I mean, Loda is now hitting like a truck.
And you really do, this is really not the time you want to be buying back on the Tide Hunter. He does finally get to that 2,700 gold.
Yeah, oh man, that's like soul destroying. I guess I'm never gonna double ult in any of these fights ever. Base push happening, but tier 2 also getting pressured here. Lions are actually gonna back up. Looks like they want to defend this tier 2, but they're gonna be too late. There's no cliff.
So he's actually not gonna have to end up buying back. Alliance don't commit to the mid lane.
A little surprised that they don't just commit to that.
They actually lose 2 towers for 1, so really good split push coming out from Power Rangers. And I'm actually really surprised Alliance didn't commit to that.
Yeah, I mean, the threat of buyback is there, but that seems like a fight that they probably could have won, and instead they just lose the free towers. So Ditya Ra is now finding some farming space with that MKB, able to farm these waves down quickly. Hani going to be building towards that refresher orb, and that is quite good against this very low HP Weaver.
Yeah. I mean,
Butterfly
if
for
the
Slark as well.
I suppose it depends on when the BKB is used, and yeah, Loda just getting absolutely massive.
And you might say, I mean, there's already an MKB and Weaver. Why would you buy the Butterfly? But the attack speed is so good on Slark.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, it's like, yes, he does already have
that.
that, but yeah, it gives him stats. It gives him a huge amount of attack speed. So I think it's still a completely fine item choice. Loda is level 25, 7-1 and 7, has had a really nice game on this Slark. And the new Alliance squad seems to be pretty coordinated, honestly. I mean, people were worried, oh, they have 3 stand-ins, but it seems to be working out.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Loda with that double damage rune.
I think yeah, just hit the tower now, yeah.
Yeah, I was
Like, what are you doing? Tower, man.
Just standing there for a second.
There's the glyph used. Tide Hunter. He's getting into position now, has the Shivas. That does not have means he does not have the buyback, but with the Shivas, he really should be able to get off the 2 ultimates here. They need to move on this sooner rather than later. The barracks is dying. They're gonna move in. Finally, just on Loda, he dark packs the tower's dead for free, and they're gonna disengage. Shocklow waiting forever. There's no BKB on Slark. I think he's got a. I mean, I guess with the Aegis,
Aegis,
yeah, that's true. Can you
And
even...
2,700 life, so you have to commit so much to killing him.
And at that point, do you just die to the Zeus spamming? Do you die to the Viper? But, I mean, this is not going to get better. Maybe they can fight them a little bit further outside the base, but...
This is actually a real problem for Power Rangers, because they picked all of these teamfight ultimate heroes, but against the Aegis, it's... Especially on such a farmed hero, the amount of commitment that is required to take down Loda one time, you just... I mean, you have to expend a bunch of your ults, and then... At that point, you only have the one refresher, so you don't have two refreshers. I think if Enigma gets a refresher, they can probably deal with the Aegis, because they can use one black hole, maybe even one Ravage to take down the Slark, and then they're going to have, you know, another round of these ultimates. But, I mean, at the moment, I actually don't even think that was necessarily the wrong play from Power Rangers, because unless they're able to lasso him, I just don't see that ending, Wolf.
Yeah. It's understandable, and this Zeus ulti has sort of turned into an information tool. He's been spamming it basically when it comes off cooldown, and just making sure they know exactly where everyone from Power Rangers is. And they have good positioning. Shocklow now going to be under pressure. Loda's going to move forward. He does get the Force Staff off, and that's going to save him. Oh, Loda getting pulled back. Lasso Dark Pack used well. Yule's up in the air is the Weaver. He is going to time lapse. That's going to keep him from latching. Looks like Power Ranger's still hanging on for life here, but Loda is looking for pickoffs. He's going to maybe find one on Cheshire Cat. No, he misses the pounce. Uncharacteristic from the rest of the game, where he's pretty much hit every single pounce. J4 is going to be TPing out as well. And Lions looking probably to bring the pressure, although this Aegis is now gone. So now they're gonna have to wait another couple minutes, I think.
Oh no. J4, why do you have an ultimate orb?
X.
Yeah, but refresher, like I don't how is Hex better than a refresher black hole? I mean, he has BKB, he has Blink Dagger. I mean, this is just like the standard item progression on Enigma, especially when you have all these big AoE teamfight ultimates.
Yep.
You know, maybe... I'm not sure what the Hex does in this situation. Sure, you might be able to Hex up Loda, but you're not... even with the Hex, he has 2,800 HP. You're not killing him inside that Hex duration. You're going to have to expend...
At least not with the farm that the Weaver currently has.
Yeah. I mean, sure, maybe you can Hex and then chain it into a lasso, but what happens if he Dark Packs before your Hex? I mean...
Oh, they know exactly what's happening now. Huge smoke gank. That's just completely revealed by that ultimate by Hani. And Alliance are like, oh boy, everyone back into the base. Do not get caught out by this
Zeus
giant
ults,
smoke gank.
Nothing gets revealed. Uh-oh.
They now know exactly. Yeah, they know exactly what's happening. Aki maybe going to be a lone casualty, but a nice Yule is maybe going to save and push back. They are still going to lasso him, but now they're fighting near the base. There's one. He uses the black hole. That's just on Loda. There's the death ward there as well. Loda, Ravage. He's going to go down. Ace, he's also falling. Loda already buying back. He's the only one with the buyback, so they do get something out of that at least. Ravage is one used only. Shocklow trying to make it out of here. Are they going to get full retreat? In comes Loda. Yeah, he's going to get Shocklow. That's an Abyssal Blade. Kraken Shell's gonna proc. He's making it out of here, or at least a little bit. Loda gets pushed back, does have the pounce in 1 second. Whiffs airball on that one. Shocklow still gonna go down here. Power Rangers, though, getting a crucial buyback, I think, out of Loda.
This is also the problem of not opting for that refresher on Enigma. He would actually have the refresher right now. He doesn't have another black hole. They only have one Ravage left, so this buyback onto Loda, you know, even though they did find a nice pickup on Loda, but now they don't have any of these ultimates, and I think this is the time that Alliance can actually push.
And this is the time. I think you're right, and Loda still has tons of
they're gonna just check Roshan.
I think Loda just has to buy BKB now, or does that even not help at this point?
I actually think the Aegis is just better.
EOT in an Aegis or something.
Yeah. It does look like they are going to wait for the Viper, which is perfectly fine. I mean, this hole is going to be on cooldown for 100 seconds, so I expect that once the Viper spawns, they should just run down mid. They might be a little bit nervous about pushing with the buyback on Loda, but you have to get something for this buyback.
Yeah.
Because if all you're getting is a Tide kill, then Loda's buyback was a huge mistake.
So they're gonna position around Roche here, but unfortunately, it's gonna be a long time before that's up. Another minute. Aghanims is completed for the Ogre though, and that's a pretty big item. That Fire Blast.
And 5,000 gold now on to Didkira on the Weaver, so gonna probably be looking towards that next item. To be honest, if I was him, I would just go another damage item. Maybe a crit or... And then you get another survivability
I mean, is there a
item
chance that he
after
goes
that.
for like a butterfly, which is sort of in the middle? I mean, it doesn't help against magic damage, but he has the BKB for that.
I doubt it. Just because crit is actually so good on Weaver now because it procs with Geminate.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I mean, you have the ability... If you double crit someone, I mean, they're just gonna absolutely
You're
melt.
completely dead. Especially if it's someone like Aki, only 1200 HP. Refresher is completed now for Hani, though. Looks like the Lincoln... It's going to be a Lincoln Sphere for J4. Interesting. He's just looking to get... I don't know how I feel about this. So it's not a Hex. It's not a Refresher. It's a Lincoln's. But I feel like he's been getting off full duration black holes anyway. Maybe they're going to use this on the Weaver?
Oh, you got a Lincoln Sphere?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this.
I mean, it does prevent the Abyssal Blade, so...
Yeah, but like, it's not like he's been not getting full duration ultis off anyway. That's my biggest thing about this. I feel like he has been having an issue getting full duration black holes.
I mean, it can't be for him, right?
I guess it has to be
gonna
for
be
the Weaver.
using this Lincoln's on the Weaver or something.
I think it must be for the Weaver.
Oh, and Alliance are going to get this Roshan, it looks like.
Well, this is awkward now. They're thinking about not committing, but there's a lot of heroes here. Then they move forward. Ra's here. There's one Ravage. It's only going to be on Ace. Load actually in the back. Gets Force Staff over the hill. There's the Witch Doctor. Blinks up onto the high ground. Gets in BKB. Gets the Aghanims off. That Deathport's doing so much work. Minuts is going to go down here. There's a double ulti from the Zeus, though. There's the Black Hole onto Loda. J4 going to get off the full duration there. There is no Shadow Dance. Loda makes it to the high ground. Somehow, he's still alive. No, he goes down.
Oh,
the
he
bugs
died.
showing him. He goes down. And the egg is going to be picked up. The cheese is here as well. Weaver has that. Now 2,600 gold. Looks like he might be going for that butterfly, but... Everyone from Alliance is dead. None of them have buyback. Are they going to lose a Rax here? Is this game actually turning around right now? What a clowny fight for Alliance in the pit. Loda jumped over the pit like 3 times.
I mean, he did dodge both Ravages, but it didn't even matter. They just saved the Black Hole for Loda, and he dies during the Black Hole, and that actually could just end up being game. I mean, he doesn't have buyback on the start. What's the buyback status on the other heroes?
None of them have it.
Okay, so that's at least going to be 2 sets of Rex, possibly Mega Creeps. Can they defend with the other 4 heroes from Alliance? Looks like they are going to get the AA ult off onto 3.
They don't even have any damage to follow it up, though. I mean, they have the Viper.
They have the
Zeus doesn't have
Mantis
ultimate
out.
for 14 seconds.
And it's probably just going to be 2 set of Rex, I think.
Power Rangers have to be happy with that one. And
They have an Aegis as well.
they battle their way back into this one somehow. Minuts is going to get stunned up here. Force staffed away. There's actually
Alright,
a
they should
BKB
just
used
not
by
do
Cheshire
this.
Cap. This might be one way for Power Rangers to lose this advantage they get, but they're going to commit onto Ace. He's going to get Death Warded Manta as well. There's going to pop the Lincolns, but 30 seconds more for Loader to come up. They want Mega Creeps right now. That's the only reason for them to recommit back into this fight. Hopefully it is not their undoing as they rotate around for the last set of Raxes. 20 seconds until Loda battle against time as Zeus does have one ulti. Aki gonna get a nice big ultimate off there onto 2, but they want to hit the Weaver with that one. The tower is falling. There's one Zeus ulti. Time lapse immediately. Dra taking damage. Shiva's used. Yule's up in the air. Minus taking damage. And is Dra gonna fall? It
Loda
looks like
is alive.
that one's down. That's just the Aegis. J4 darting through here. Aki's coming back. There's the BKB. They're going to want to try to get out of this one, but in comes Loda. Plops down the Abyssal Blade. Goodbye, J4. They do not get the Mega Creeps. But can Alliance come back from 2 Raxes down? They have 1 Rax themselves. It is in the lane. Unfortunately, that they still have a Barracks in. Well, I guess it depends how you look at it. So 1 lane going to be pushing in for Alliance. 2 lanes going to be pushing in for the Power Rangers. And
So Alliance actually not quite out of this game, but it's definitely going to be an uphill battle at this point. I think it's just because they don't have to commit the black hole anymore to killing off the other Alliance heroes, and I think that's the big difference between the current state of the game and the state of the game 10 to 15 minutes ago. Because earlier in the game, even I mean, the Tidehunter was never able to get off the double Ravages because he didn't have the Shiva's Guard, and so with one Ravage, the rest of Alliance were able to deal with the other heroes from Power Rangers, so they had to commit the black hole, maybe not optimally, not onto Loda, and now it's a very difficult game. Loda can't actually go onto the Enigma because of the Lincoln Sphere. He can't use the Abyssal Blade on him. So maybe that's what the Lincoln's is for, because there was a team fight in the jungle where Loda just blinks onto the Enigma, uses the Abyssal Blade, and then bursts him down solo. So that could be the reasoning for it. He is going to go ahead and pick up an Ogre Club, so finally working towards that BKB. But it might be too little too late at this point.
We'll find out as the Alliance are struggling to close this one out. Here in DotaPit season number 2. First game of the day. 2 Alliance series of 2s today. First one, obviously against Power Rangers. The second one going to be up against Complexity, and that's going to be with Mott casting that one. Power Rangers continuing forward here in the bottom lane. BKB completed for the Slark, but he looks like he might barely have buyback. I'm afraid that would push him out of buyback range, which is definitely something that he needs. Pressure mounting here as Power Rangers are trying to close this one out, get the Mega Creeps. And Alliance do not have a particularly good lineup against clearing Mega Creeps, so that might just be it if that happens. Loda, darting through here, wants to find someone, cannot find anyone. Need to be careful with how they initiate on this one. Loda's going to go back in. J4 immediately gets the black hole into Loda. There's one Ravage. J4 is going to go down. Loda's still alive. The Death Ward channeling through the fight, taking down almost 3 of the Alliance, but everyone is still alive. That's not a winning combination. They're not able to actually kill anyone. Multicast. The second Ravage never gets cast. That's not good for Power Rangers. They need to be careful now with the rest of this fight crumbling around them. They're not able to get any kills. Not a single kill in that fight for Power Rangers. What a crazy game we are in.
J4 can't be happy with himself right there. He didn't BKB before casting Black Hole.
As a result, he dies immediately.
That's a huge mistake. I think Loda would have actually just died. And that could have been in the favor of Power Rangers at that point, but you know, mistakes get made, and he doesn't end up popping the BKB before channeling the black hole. So in the end, Alliance do come out way ahead, getting 3 kills for 0.
The problem is that they're not going to get anything off this fight. Maybe.
Might get the tier 3 mid. It does look like Loda is going to push it in the bottom, so you know, he does a lot of damage now, up to 300 right-click damage, so. And he's just going to start. Yeah, he does so much damage to these towers.
Buyback actually used there. Loda's just out of here. He doesn't want to commit any further than that. I think they were hoping to catch him with the lasso, chain that into a pick off on Loda. That does not work out. Rob pushing in the top lane with his butterfly completed. Hani is actually gone for a Dagon at this point. I mean, I guess the Weaver still has pretty low HP, but I feel like there has to be a better item than that. I mean, maybe there's not. But I feel like maybe like a Hex or something.
Yeah, you could have that double Hex. That would be pretty strong, I think.
Instead, he's got double Dagon. And the Alliance just trying to push the creeps out of their base, trying to make an opportunity for themselves to get a fight at the Power Rangers base so they can end the game. As it's getting really sketchy. 56 minutes in again. I think I've had the longest games with DotaPit every single time. This is I have a every single time there's a tournament, I always get to cast the longest tournament. It's great. Good stuff. Power Rangers are positioning themselves maybe to take down the Roshan.
Snick, snick.
Aki throwing the ultimate in. So both teams just trying to position themselves in a way that they can take down this Aegis. And now the refresher orb that F4L was talking about is going to be up here.
Alright, sorry, I'm back.
No problem.
Looks... Alright, so he does pick up the refresher. That's a really key item. Now going to have 2 black holes in this next fight. And, I mean, this is going to be...
Also gonna have 2 BKBs, so he's going to have full duration. For sure.
I think this is actually just going to be the deciding factor.
Yeah. If Alliance win this fight, then they're going to get the Aegis. They maybe can win the game afterwards, but if they lose, the game is definitely over. I mean, this is a fight at their last remaining barracks. Alliance going to want to push this fight out of the base as far as possible. Loda going to get spotted out here. There's one BKB already used. Loda trying to come in the shock blow. He is going to get black hold. The death ward coming in as well. Loda's going to go down. Does have the buyback. Immediately expends that one. Zeus, second ulti coming in.
Now they have the refresher on the Enigma.
Yeah,
so they can actually fight this again.
That's the key. They still have double Ravage here.
Looks like they are going to back off. Cheshire Cat, yeah, he's going to give himself the self-heals, and looks like they probably want to heal up on both the Tidehunter and the Batrider before engaging again. And they just don't have any defensive abilities for Loda when he gets black holes.
Yeah.
And I know what Loda was trying to do there. He was looking for the Tidehunter because he knew that Tidehunter had used the buyback when they were pushing up into that mid lane. So a nice try by him, but in the end it just doesn't work out.
Alliance trying to sneak a Roshan here, but they get scared off by some illusions.
And I think at this point, unless you're able to catch out the Enigma, you can't go anymore if you're Loda because... I mean,
you saw what happened. He died.
He can't... The issue is he can't Abyssal the Enigma, so he doesn't actually have pick potential onto Enigma. So one of his teammates has to be the one either burning that Lincoln Sphere or maybe they try to smoke gank, wrap around.
I feel like it should be pretty easy to dispel that.
Yeah. I mean, I think they need to do some cheeky play. Do they have any smokes available? No, they don't have any smokes, so that is actually a problem. Oh, they do have a smoke on the courier, so... Maybe look to smoke around, try to wrap around...
Our Rangers trying to just poise up here again in this bottom lane, but Loda, like you mentioned, needs to be careful. There's the Zeus ulti, so all are revealed. They know exactly what's going on the map again. Can Alliance position themselves in a way to make something happen here is the question. Witch Doctor moving forward puts down a very aggressive Observer Ward. That's going to get taken out immediately. Gem on mine, that's going to enable that one.
And I really like this play from Power Rangers. Just start doing Roshan. The Sark doesn't have buyback, so they probably are going to be a bit hesitant to take any sort of large team fight, especially...
Alliance are converging on this.
Power Rangers do back away. Probably going to wait for the AA duration. Oh, they get a double damage on the Weaver. That could be huge.
That's one of them runes, man. Late game double damage, although Weaver does not have a lot of HP, so...
And he's going to get
healed up by the Witch Doctor.
And I think once he gets healed up, they're actually just going to walk back into Roshan. They still have one black hole available. And one black hole is actually all that is needed to take down this Sark.
They're going to wander back in here, like you mentioned, and that double damage is going to go to work.
It's just a free rush. Even though this AA ult might connect, probably not.
Uh-oh, Loda going back in. He actually kills the Weaver. Weaver's stuck. There's a black hole in the pit, though. Double Ravage also available. The Death Ward going down. The Aegis and the Cheese are both still on the ground. Weaver is the one who picks up the Aegis. He is bought back. Time-lapsed into the fight, grabs the Aegis, and I think Alliance, it was a risky move, and I think it might have just cost him the game. Ace is buying back, coming back in. Zeus is here as well. He gets down one, but he is going to die immediately afterwards. Only going to get one. J4, maybe he's going to go down as well. Actually, the multicast coming in. Alliance making an okay amount, but the throne is dead. What a weird game.
Loda has to be pretty salty there. He got hold once. The second black hole actually doesn't connect on Loda, so he's able to pounce out of that. And then he gets flaming lassoed and then into Ravage. I mean, every ult being expended onto this Slurk. And I think there was just an inherent flaw with Alliance's draft, at least against this Power Rangers lineup. So Power Rangers go for this huge AoE teamfight composition, and Alliance really don't have a great way of punishing it. Sure, they did really well during the laning phase, but they don't really have any tower pushing. They weren't able to abuse Roshan as quickly as they might have liked, and there's no real defensive spells for the Slurk in this late game.
All right, well, we'll be back soon with game number 2 here on DotaPit. I'm What Is Hip from High Ground TV. With me, F4L at What Is Hip TV and at F4L Dota. We'll be back shortly for game number 2.
You took one look, but you played me like a game. I can see it. You took one look and now you stare at me the same.